Hey guys, Kerry Werner here. You may have taken notice from my socials that I am in Tucson, taking advantage of free rent at Casa de Finsty, hanging out with nation's #1 Shiba, enjoying some good weather and trying to squeeze some last-minute fitness out before World Championships at the end of the month in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Tucson is pretty well known for its road riding. It has become a destination for cyclists trying to hide from bad weather at their homes. And while it has lots of pavement and road options, lots of bike paths, roads, the shootout group ride, pretty legendary, nobody really talks much about the off-road stuff here in Tucson, specifically the mountain biking. Luckily, Finsty had a loaner bike that fit me, so he took me over to Mount Lemmon to ride one of his favorite trails in the area, Milagrosa, and it was such a cool ride that I figured I'd share it with you guys because if you're in town, I feel like this is one you should check out. So if you're riding from town, be prepared to pound some pavement. You got to work your way over to the base of Mount Lemmon and then climb the first 5 miles of Mount Lemmon up to Molino Basin, where you'll turn right onto the Arizona Trail. So if you're planning on starting in the downtown area, plan for roughly about 15 miles until you get to mile marker 0 on the Mount Lemmon Highway. Then 5 miles from the 0 mile marker up to Molino Basin. And that took us about 1 hour and 32 minutes from the time we left until our knobs touched dirt. If you drive to the trailhead, I'll leave the parking spot and a link in the video description below. You park where we will finish and you make a loop out of what we're doing as a lollipop. I'll also put my Strava ride link in the video description below where you can download the GPX file. So once you turn onto the AZT, it is immediately easy, but it quickly pitches up and turns technical for a mile until you get to the top. You'll cross a cattle guard and then you'll drop into some pretty rugged, fairly low speed tech that snakes its way into the valley below. If you can bear to look up, you can look down toward your left and see the trail below you wrapping around the natural features of the canyon floor. Once on the valley floor, you work your way along the AZT until you cross a creek. At this point, you're about 7.5 miles in from mile marker 0. There's a rock pile and the AZT forks left while the Milagrosa Trail forks right. So this is where you turn right off of the AZT. And this is where the real Milagrosa Trail is. There's immediately a few creek crossings and then a gnarly rock move that Finsty and I did not do. I want to show up to Worlds with both of my collarbones intact. After that, there's a little more climbing, followed by some fun, more open descending. You follow this undulating pattern until you see the final climb stretch out in front of you, and you climb it up to this little knob. There's a small clearing at the top, about 11.5 miles from mile marker 0, and from this point, it's pretty much all downhill. You start off by ripping down some technical stuff at the top, followed by some rock slab high-speed sections with the canyon dropping down on the right side until you start to fall away from the canyon wall and finally drop into the floor and cross a creek at the bottom. Just there's a small hike-a-bike to another 3 to 5 minutes of climbing, and then the final descent. It starts off on some solid rock up top again, and about a quarter of the way down it gets steep and loose. It stays this way until you get spit out at the bottom into a neighborhood just off to the east of the Mount Lemmon Highway Road. This is where you'll park if you drive to park, the Milagrosa Trailhead parking. So from the Trailhead parking lot, it's 1.5 miles to the Mount Lemmon Highway, mile marker 0, and the loop itself would be 14.5 or 15-ish miles from the Trailhead parking. It took Finsty and I about 2 hours. There is some pretty technical riding, so based on your skill, you might be a little slower. This is a backcountry route. You are pretty far out there when the AZT forks left and Milagrosa turns right. So be prepared with a tube, inflators, water, food. I suggest riding with friends. I definitely recommend this trail for anyone visiting the area with an MTB and has an average to advanced level of skill and fitness. The trails are technical and steep, so you have been warned. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. Happy riding. Thanks for watching.